Hi, this is EZarch Podcast. This is Sean,
And this is Guido.
and this is episode number 23 of the Dream Closet Project. First of all, the video looked a little bit different because unfortunately our regular video camera was not working today. So we have our temporary setup. Hopefully, the quality is still okay. But anyway, this week we have a interesting topic. Actually, it was inspired by a chance finding. It was actually this cute little clock that we have here because one of my friend, he lived in an old building and he apparently went to the basement a few days ago and find this huge collection of these sort of 60-ish, 70-ish flip flops. So I went through it. I really loved it. The way they're designed, the styles, the mechanism.
Yeah, it looked great. It looked new.
Yeah, exactly.
New.
It was in good shape. And it was really cool, and it really kind of got me thinking about that period of time in design, and also remind me of this show called Mad Men.
I love it.
Right, yes. It's a good show. It's it's happening that time.
In the 60s, maybe 60, early 60s or late 60s, and it's
very stylistic.
Right, it's completely different in the way that they behave before than now. They are smoking all the time and drinking
right in front of people, just doing working. It's different socially, and also the design for their office. I mean, in their home are all very different and kind of remind you of the older time. As you can see, if you look at his office, you see a lot of furnitures and tables, and even the curtains and the wall finishes are all very different.
It seems like brownish with colors.
Yeah, it's a lot of very organic shape, a lot of organic material, which kind of led me, to thinking about the whole mid-century modern movement of design.
So we're talking about between 1930s to 1950s and 60s?
Yeah, roughly around that time.
So, but it started basically in Europe in the 20s and 30s with Le Corbusier or Mies van der Rohe. And then after that, evolved. And when we are speaking about
Frankly, I would probably disagree with you. You'll probably fight and say this is American movement.
I don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
it's the Atlantic divide.
He did his own evolving because he was older. I think that Frank Lloyd Wright was a little bit older.
Yeah, this is sort of the second period in his career.
Yeah, the last period of his career. Right. Yeah. But anyway,
so it was an interesting, period, and there was quite a bit of architects, during that time that was doing a lot of interesting work that was very influential. I think we each have our favorites, so, it was interesting. So,
we can say Frank Lloyd Wright, as we said before, as you could see on the picture. Then we can see some examples of Richard Neutra, an architect that worked a lot in the West Coast. We can see images of his homes.
Yeah, very, very geometric, very kind of straightforward, simple, But the material he used, that was one thing that was very interesting, I noticed throughout that period. The use of material was very rich, they didn't really shy away from the use. Everyone remember those shag rug, the really thick, very hairy ones, and also there was a lot of wood, ceiling and wall, wood panels. So the inspiration is basically, okay, since we're doing the Dream Closet project, and we designed a closet that was themed, as a mid-century modernist themed closet. So that's what we are trying to do. So, we went through a lot of the photographs that we found during that period, to try to identify some of the things that that make that period really more distinctive, I guess.
So what are we seeing right now? It seems like a kitchen with a flashy color. We're saying like a light blue, or maybe a green.
It's a turquoise, I think.
Turquoise.
Is it turquoise?
Yes, it is. At least in my screen.
Right.
I don't know in yours.
It's a plastic laminate finish. It's very glossy, you know. And there's this kind of fascination. Part of the modernist movement was the fascination with new materials. You know, because during that time, plastic laminate was sort of this new thing, and everyone was getting into it. So you have plastic laminate, you know, wood finishes, plastic laminate, you know, glossy, you know, finishes, a lot of things like that. And they also like rich, you know, bright colors. So to start, I think we would, you know, if we were to create a closet, we would be very careful about what we pick for the wall surfaces. Exactly. You know, so we would pick something like either a wood, you know, panel. You know, that would be very distinctive. If you open your closet door and you see wood panel walls, you're like, you know.
Or a plastic material. Like those, you know, you see those chairs in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. You see that white plastic shiny thing. Okay, right. So this is pretty much,
what you could injection molded, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then of course we continue to look to see what some of the design, you know, during that period looked like. The next picture we're at this shelving that was from that period. As you can see, I mean, there's this kind of organic, you know, even though it's very kind of minimal compared to something from, you know, earlier, you know, the classical design, but at the same time, there's kind of organic motif that's in there. The leg of the shelf tapers, you know, all the edges are, you know, very rounded off, you know, so it has kind of like a different sensibility, you know, when it comes to like the details. And then the next one, this is a set of speaker. I found them, you know, I like these because of the legs, like shiny kind of.
Yeah, the legs are so 60.
Right, it's a classic. I still have like an old table with like a base like that. The top is all messed up, but you know, the base was wonderful. So one of my friends actually was trying to, you know, get it all off of me.
I like this. This seems, you know, maybe out of that period, but we could say that.
It's very reminiscent. That's why I kind of included it on the list. It's a low shelving that was done again with a lot of wood. There's a little bit of an Eastern, you know, influences here that I can see, you know, and you know, it's interesting. Again, we're moving on to the next shelving, which is also it's this particular, you know, again you see the taper legs, you know, you see a lot of metal, you know, stainless steel also very common during that time. So I would imagine we would find one of these units that's very distinctive. You know, maybe you can find something unique at your local antique market from that period of time, put it in your closet as a kind of centerpiece to kind of give the period, you know, some authenticity. The next thing, of course, would be important would be to find a light fixture. I mean, that was another thing that they were really into. You know, like kind of a 60-ish like light fixture that kind of, you know, focuses your attention. You know, so the one that we're looking at is these sort of tripod looking, you know, lamp with wide lamp shape. You know, like they really like the whole. Well, first of all, the whole color, like the whole gold finish. You know, the copper gold finish was popular during that time. Yeah, not so much anymore. It seems a little bit gaudy now, but it's a nice a very kind of nice flourish that remind you of that period of time. So the next one was also, it's interesting, right? It's like a wood, looks like a pitchfork in 3D with a lamp floating.
I love the shape. I love the shape of the leg.
Yeah, they do a lot of these very organic, you know, shape. And that was one of the signatures. So, you know, I would imagine, so it really is the wall finishes, having a centerpiece, that kind of, you know, is antique-ish, you know, from that period, and some sort of light fixture. And then, you know, the rest is really more like complementary. If you could get like wood shelving, great. If you cannot, that's fine also. So anyway, that was our, you know, idea for this
retro closet,
our retro closet.
60s or 50s.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. So until next week, this is Sean.
This is Guido.
And this is Easy Architecture. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.